So recently, J.D. Vance said in an interview that all wars in human history, even if you go back to World War I or to World War II, ultimately ended with some type of agreement.
But Kristen, this is how wars ultimately get settled. If you go back to World War II, if you go back to World War I, if you go back to every major conflict in human history, they all end with some kind of negotiation.
Okay, agreements don't end wars. Defeat does. Yes, on paper, wars end with signatures, but those signatures only happen after one side is crushed militarily and left with no choice. Think about Germany. In World War II, Hitler didn't decide one morning, okay, let's compromise. Okay, Berlin was surrounded. The Allies had destroyed everything. Hitler literally committed suicide rather than actually face the reality of his own surrender. Germany signed an agreement only because it had been annihilated on the battlefield. And if you even look at Japan, even after losing its navy, Tokyo refused to surrender. What actually forced the issue was the dual shock of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So the lesson here is very clear. It's that agreements are the epilogue. They are not the story. Defeat is the story. So let's apply this to Israel. Let's apply it to Hamas, okay? Hamas is not a rational actor like a conventional state. It is a radical Islamist terror group whose charter openly calls for the destruction of Israel and for the genocide of the Jewish people. Its entire identity is built on endless war, on martyrdom, and jihad. That is fundamentalist Islam. That is Islamism. Hamas is not a group that you meet halfway, okay? This is not a movement that moderates when you offer compromise. They interpret compromise as weakness, just like Imperial Japan or Nazi Germany. Hamas will only come to the table when they are so overwhelmingly defeated that they understand survival itself depends on ending the fighting. Yet despite their military defeat on the battlefield, their suffering and the suffering of their population, they haven't learned their lesson. They still cling to the ideology, promising October 7th again and again. And that shows that they have not been broken in the way Germany and Japan were broken. People say, well, if Israel and America, or mainly Israel, continue to attack, Palestine, won't that only breed more terrorists? Well, did that happen in Germany and Japan? Did we breed more terrorists out of Germany and Japan when we so overwhelmingly defeated them in World War II? The answer is no. You cannot compromise with movements that want to eradicate you. You cannot strike a middle ground with those who see your existence as illegitimate. And Israel cannot compromise with Hamas today for the same reason Roosevelt and Churchill could not compromise with Hitler, or Truman could not compromise with the Japanese militarists. To do so would not only guarantee more war, but would legitimize a genocidal ideology that threatens not just Israel, but the entire free world. And that is a truth that so many people need to wake up to.